What's going on, people? Welcome to Sure TV, back another live stream today. We're going to look at Arsenal's apparent top midfield target this summer, Yves Bissouma from Brighton, a player that we've been linked with numerous times, but, you know, reports coming out that he is our top target. And look, let's hope we get this deal done, man. A player that I would definitely like to see Arsenal go and get this summer. Big up everyone in the chat. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm pretty sure I was on time today, man. I thought I was there at 20 past. Let me know in the chat, people. Hope you're all safe and well today. No way. Almost on time. Yeah, maybe 20, 30 seconds. I think I was there, though, man. Big up, Abby. Big up, 1-1. Big up, everyone, man. Well done. Only a minute late. Oh, that's harsh. I thought I was there, man. But maybe with the intro, it took me over the 20 past mark. Big up everyone in the chat. Hope you're all safe and well, wherever you are in the world. Of course, today marks 1 year since lockdown started in the UK anyway. Other parts of the world, obviously different. A full year in lockdown. Obviously, we came out for a couple of months towards the end of summer. So it's been a crazy year, man, in the world. But, hey, we're lucky to be here, people. Big up everyone for tuning in. Make sure you smash a like on the video on the way in or on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And obviously, as I've said before, memberships are live. Click the join button and it'll be there for you, people. Let's talk about the player. Gunnar Vettel says the crypto king. Yeah, I put out a tweet today saying, you know, I'm going to start looking into investing in crypto, man. So, yeah. I'm going to start looking into that. You got to move with the times, man. Got to start investing, people. Let's have a look at Arsenal. Let's hope Arsenal invest in players this summer. We know we need to improve this squad. We know we're not quite good enough. And especially this Arsenal midfield is something that, you know, having looked at it, we definitely have to target. I think it has to be the main priority for Arsenal this summer is fix that midfield. And could this guy be one of the players to sort out our midfield? It's your boy Bissouma from Brighton. The Gunners. Arsenal are reportedly interested in Brighton midfielder Yves Bissouma, who is a huge Gunners fan. The 24-year-old Mali international has caught the eye for the Seagulls. And Football London reports a close pal of the star said he would choose the Gunners over any move to any other Premier League side. Come on. You know it makes sense, my friend. You know, there have been reports of Leicester trying to get hold of him as well. Apparently, Brendan Rodgers is a big fan of him. But listen, man, this is a player that we need to be looking at. 24 years of age, a boyhood Arsenal fan. We need to get this deal done. Big up Arush Shaw. Hi, Curtis. Today's my birthday. Happy birthday, man. Blessings to you on your birthday. Let's hope you have a great day. Bissouma and Partey and Ødegaard will be fire, says Michelle. I agree. I would love that. Sell the Chuckle Brothers, you know. We might get 5 million for the Chuckle Brothers. We got a Leicester fan in here, you know. Bissouma, don't ruin your career. Come and play under Rodgers. Let's be honest, if we go in with Leicester, he's coming to the carpet, man. He's coming to the carpet. London, bigger wages, you know. He's a boyhood Arsenal fan. He's coming to the carpet, people. You know that, man. You know that. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is, man. So let's hope Arsenal can get the deal done. Just looking further into the story here with Bissouma. Obviously, as we scroll into it, it says, the source also revealed Bissouma loves the Premier League, is therefore likely to remain in England if he chooses to leave Graham Potter's side. Boyhood Gunnar Bissouma joined Brighton from Lille in 2018 for 15.2 million. He is said to still speak regularly to former Lille teammates and Arsenal stars Nicolas Pepe and Gabriel. They're former teammates at Lille, which could help facilitate a move. The report states the Gunners have already made contact with Bissouma's agent, Michael and Cho. Surely we get this deal done, people. Surely. It's in our hands to get it done. He's friends with two of our players. He's a boyhood Arsenal fan. How can they mess that up? The report goes on to say they would want around £30 million for him. In today's market, £30 million for a 24-year-old who's been excellent in the Premier League, it's a no-brainer. Arsenal, get this one done. Don't mess this deal up. This is a player that we need to get done. You know, big up Josh Shaw. He says, big up Curtis. We'll probably try and sign him on loan. It will be typical Arsenal, innit? Buy now, pay later business. You know, Brett says Bissouma in, Xhaka out. I would take that. 30 million is an absolute steal. I mean, not being disrespectful, Brighton are not the biggest of clubs, right? They're doubling their money on a guy that they've had for 2 years. It makes sense for them. You know, I believe he's got 2 years left on his deal as well this summer. 30 million, boyhood Arsenal fan, wants to join us. It's not a difficult deal to get done. Surely Arsenal, you know? Imagine him next to Thomas Partey, the energy, you know, the movement, the ability to win the ball back. He's so good at dispossessing people, quick in transition, good dribbler. Doesn't really score and assist too much, but we would have a brick wall with Partey and Bissouma. Stick your little Martin Ødegaard in front. All of a sudden, Arsenal have a proper midfield to move forward with. Good price, man. BM said, everybody watching Bissouma highlight videos now. Exactly. But if you haven't seen him this season, and even last season, he's excellent. He's excellent, man. Jake says Kroenke can pull that out of his daily wallet. I know. It's light work for him, man. A no-brainer. Will finally have a decent midfield. I mean, give them Xhaka and El Neni. I'm not sure they'd want them. I mean, I was looking at Arsenal's midfield, right? It's not the prettiest of pictures, is it? Like, when you look at what we've had in the past. Now, ignore Saka, Ødegaard and Smith Rowe. I'm purely looking at what I would call central midfielders. You've got Dani Ceballos. For me, he's played himself out of any chance of signing for Arsenal on a permanent deal. He's been poor over the last month or two. I've always thought he was a decent player, but I think his opportunity at signing for the club is out the window now. 22 million in the summer. I don't think that will happen. And I wouldn't make it happen, to be honest. You've then got Mohamed El Neni, who's been at the club, 4 years? We paid 7 million for him. I mean, is he anything more than a £7 million midfielder? He's nothing special. He's sellable for me if somebody came in for him. El Neni has a year left on his contract this summer. Now, for me, I wouldn't be renewing that contract. I would allow El Neni to go with a year left. Get your £7 million back for him. I know some people say, oh, he's a decent squad player, blah, blah, blah. Would you give Mohamed El Neni a new contract? What kind of message does that send around the football club, rewarding him with a new deal? So for me, El Neni, I would let go. Ceballos, I wouldn't sign. El Neni squad fodder, they're saying, renew on lower wages. I wouldn't be excited about renewing El Neni. He is squad fodder. And as Ebby said, weakest midfield we've had in a long time. Terrible. El Neni will be a good squad player, but I think the drop's too big from him to the players that we want starting. You know, and you then go down to Granit Xhaka. Xhaka, for me, is just... Listen, he's been up and down this season, as he always is. He's been better than his usual standard, but he is not good enough to be in Arsenal's midfield on a consistent basis. He's in his 5th season at the football club. We haven't made the Champions League once since Granit Xhaka has signed for the football club, you know. When he joined that year, we were in the Champions League. We've never touched it since. Him being a mainstay in our midfield has got to be a part of the reason, you know. Chuckle Brothers settings, as we say, man. And I think Dani Ceballos wanted to become the 3rd Chuckle Brother the way he's played the last few weeks. So for me, El Neni, Ceballos, you even look at Joe Willock, you know, I'd be open to offers for them. Ceballos, I don't think will sign on a permanent. And Granit Xhaka, as you say here, the real captain, I do think Xhaka will be at Arsenal next season because I think Mikel Arteta likes him. Apparently he's very popular in the dressing room. You know, we don't really care about these things, obviously, but these things matter within football. But the midfield is weak. William says, big up Curtis, hope you're doing good. I'm good, bro. Hope you're well. 1-1 said, Xhaka hasn't been up and down. He has been down since he joined. Oh, he's terrible. He's terrible. But Musa says, get rid of Xhaka. Oh, listen, I would sell him. I would sell him. You give me a decent offer, I would let him go. I wanted to look at this as well, just quickly. Because I genuinely believe that Arsenal, outside of Thomas Partey, right, I believe Arsenal potentially have got one of the worst midfields. If we look at the traditional big six in the Premier League, right, Manchester City, and I'm just looking at central midfielders here, not attacking midfielders so much or wingers or anything like that. Man City, of course, they can pick whoever they want, and it always works. You know, Gundogan, Fernandinho, Kevin De Bruyne, one of the best in the world, if not the best. Rodri, they're full of talent. You look at Manchester United, I mean, I don't really rate Fred, McTominay or Matic, to be honest, but obviously they've got Pogba, they've got Bruno Fernandes. They can make the difference for them. You look at Chelsea, you know, Kovacic is a very, very good player, in my opinion. And N'Golo Kante, of course, is a fantastic player. Jorginho's okay, nothing special. Leicester, I can't even ignore Leicester. I'm not going to ignore them. They've got a brilliant midfield. Ndidi, Tielemans, Maddison. Leicester's midfield is outstanding. You know, let's be honest, man. Leicester have built that midfield with smart recruitment. Ndidi wasn't expensive. Tielemans, I don't know how they got him. A lot of big clubs were looking at him. And Maddison, they got from the Championship. Brilliant midfield. You look at West Ham. Souček, Declan Rice, Lingard. It's a better midfield than Arsenal's. You look at Tottenham, Sissoko, Ndombele, Højbjerg, better than Arsenal's. Liverpool, Wijnaldum, Thiago, Fabinho, Henderson, far better. You know, Everton addressed it in one transfer window. They signed Alan Decore. They've got Andre Gomez, James Rodriguez. It's better than ours. Villa have got Douglas Luiz, Ross Barkley, John McGinn. So the whole top 10 is better than our midfield. And you can actually scroll down, and some of these other teams have probably got better midfields than us, if we're being totally honest. I mean, Wolves have probably got a better midfield than us with Ruben Neves, João Moutinho, Dendoncker, Southampton, Ward-Prowse, Romeo, you know, players like that. Outside of Thomas Partey, I'm saying, you know, when he's at the team, our midfield is probably down there with Burnley, Brighton, Newcastle, Fulham, West Brom, Sheffield United. And that is why we suffer, because our midfield, we can't dictate games. We don't have enough quality, you know, and we have to address that midfield situation this summer. It's a massive problem in the Arsenal team. You have to have a top quality midfield now. You have to. You know, big up Fran in the chat, forever football, man. Leeds, you know, Calvin Phillips and people like that. He would walk in our midfield. I would take Calvin Phillips. Tom says Xhaka is Augsburg level. He probably is, to be fair. You know, Mount as well for Chelsea, although he's more of an attacking midfielder. Tielemans, to me, is outstanding. I would love to have Tielemans at Arsenal. I think he's brilliant. Mukil's laughing at Sissoko, but listen, Sissoko, let's be honest, he's better than El Neni, you know, and players like that. Games are won from midfield. The engine room, man, it's the engine room. That's where things have got to happen. Big up McLovin. He said we need a goal scoring centre mid. All of the big clubs right now have a goal scorer in their midfield. Bruno, De Bruyne, Mount, Tielemans, etc. And you're right. Listen, you would hope that our boy Ødegaard could be that guy. You know, he scored a couple of goals in the last few games. Hopefully he can become that player that starts scoring goals for Arsenal. But you're right. Poor recruitment, Damien. Poor recruitment. I mean, listen, guys, we signed Granit Xhaka ahead of N'Golo Kante. We walked away from N'Golo Kante to sign Granit Xhaka. Do you know what I mean? Look at the difference. One of them's a World Cup winner, a two-time Premier League winner for Granit Xhaka. We We bought Mohamed El Neni through that stat DNA that was happening. And El Neni had these remarkable stats of like most passes completed in Europe or something when he was at Basel in Switzerland. But them kind of stats are secondary. You can play 500 passes backwards and sideways. It don't mean you're a great midfielder. Don't mean you're a great passer of the ball. You can just keep the ball safe. And then you look at Xhaka. Xhaka, I've always believed, has got certain qualities, but he hasn't got the brain. He doesn't see the picture quick enough. I remember when we signed him, people were comparing him to Xabi Alonso. Xabi Alonso is a million miles ahead of Xhaka. I understood the similarities, deep-lying playmaker who can also tackle. But Xhaka's too slow on the ball. I think if he was in Germany or Italy, where the game's a bit slower, he maybe would be better. He'd have that little bit of extra time. But in the Prem, you don't get that time. And I think Xhaka is a liability. To me, I've always said he's a ticking time bomb, that you'll get 3 or 4 good games out of him and then the mistake's going to happen. And that's the problem with Granit Xhaka. And I made the reference that when we signed Thomas Partey, it was like a clear water river. And what you'll do, you'll start polluting him with the rubbish. Like when people start throwing rubbish in a river and the river starts going dirty. That's what we're doing. We're throwing the Chuckle Brothers in there and polluting him. Because all of a sudden, I've gone from watching Thomas Partey play for Atletico Madrid, getting man of the match against Liverpool, man of the match against Barcelona, looking like a world beater, to just giving simple passes away and getting caught on the ball. I'm not saying he was terrible against West Ham, but he doesn't look the same player that we were watching in Spain. And it's because of the players around him, unfortunately. And I think our biggest priorities this summer has to be to fix that midfield. Big up Randy Viper. He said, so peed off we sold Martinez. What has Leno won? Martinez having a very good season. I mean, we may have to do a video looking. I am going to do a video. I actually was thinking, let's do a video looking at the players we sold and signed in the summer. But yeah, we will look at that. I think a lot of people are annoyed that Martinez left, but it is what it is. Leno's been decent most of the season, but the last month or so, he's looked shaky, man. Jonathan said, Curtis, we need to do an episode on the forwards and defenders as well. The whole team needs a refresh. Could be an idea for a show, because you can easily start looking through all the team. Mr. Ugaga said, that's damning, but you're speaking facts. Bro, it is. There's teams in the bottom 6, bottom 7 that have got midfields that compete, especially when Thomas Partey. I mean, Thomas Partey, I was reading, has only played 15 games for Arsenal in the Premier League this season. It's not good enough. And I think they were saying 7 of them he came off. So he's played 8 games for 90 minutes. Thomas Partey, listen, as a talent, as a player, we can all see he's a fantastic player. I believe he'll be a big success at Arsenal. We saw in the game against United away and, certain other games where he's bossed it. But if we're looking at what we've got out of him this season, at the moment, it hasn't been a successful signing. Listen, we know Thomas Partey is going to be a top quality player for Arsenal. But the impact we needed from him this season, we haven't seen it. And the problem's been, obviously, number 1, quality of players. Number 2, he's been injured way more than usual. FZ said, Rabiot from Juve, they're strapped for paying Ronaldo. Yeah, Rabiot, we were linked with him a few times in the past. Maybe. I think he's played quite a lot, though, this season for Juve. Brett Jeffers, Curtis, I feel sorry for people in the UK. Life's been back to normal for me in Australia for 6 months, apart from overseas travel. Your content has helped a lot of people. I appreciate that, bro. Happy to help however I can. The content has helped me, you guys, and the feedback and the interaction. It's helped me as well. So I have to thank you as well, all of you. But it's amazing, how different countries have dealt with lockdown, should I say, so well compared to England. I know it's a situation that the government weren't prepared for, but, you've been back to normal pretty much for 6 months. We're still not back to normal. But listen, hope everyone's safe and well around the world, wherever you are. He's a very good player, but has been a disastrous signing so far. You're talking about Partey there, of course. I suppose how how we can put that right is lead us to Europa League glory, and all of a sudden he's been a great signing. Brett says, lockdown family, come on, bro. Curtis Shaw TV community, man. We're together in this, 1-1 Australia did the right thing from early. Boris did nothing. Yeah, man. They reacted a lot quicker and more harsh. Curtis Blood Clot Shaw. Big up Moeed, man. Listen, as we look at fixing this Arsenal midfield, obviously we're looking at Bissouma. And we're looking at the boy Ødegaard. This is the player that I think all Arsenal fans now, as much as we're getting excited, going, wow, what a player, what a talent. We're all sort of sitting there now going, let's get him signed. We're getting all excited, like, yes, Ødegaard, what a brilliant player is at Arsenal. Then we're going, hang on a minute, it's March. His loan finishes at the end of May. What happens then? And we're thinking, I'm looking at it going, he's been at Arsenal for 8 weeks. He's an integral part of our team already after 8 weeks. Now, that's good in the sense that he's stepped up so much in just 2 months. But it's also worrying that a player can come in who wasn't match fit, who wasn't accustomed to the Premier League, and has become that important that quickly. I think that tells you, number one, how good Ødegaard is. But number two, how weak we were in these areas. And I've been doing a lot of research into this whole Ødegaard situation. There's a lot of mixed reports. I've read a lot of the things that Madrid have said about him. It seems like Martin Ødegaard is very popular at Real Madrid. They signed him as a teenager. He was 15, just turning 16 when they bought him. He was classed as a wonder kid, Freddie Adu of Norway, if you like. For those of you who remember Freddie Adu, man, who was a bit of a championship manager legend about 10 years ago. But the general feeling is that Zinedine Zidane is not in favour of him. Zidane called him back last year. Real Sociedad had him on a 2-year loan, but it had a break clause after 1 year. And Real Madrid decided to break it after 1 year and bring him back. But then didn't involve him. He only made 11 appearances, only started 2 games, and decided he wanted to go on loan in January. Now, as you're saying here, Fabrizio is tweeting that Ødegaard is making noise that he would like to stay. Now, obviously, you can see in this comment that he's done in an interview on international duty with Norway. Ødegaard was asked about his long-term future. He said, I haven't thought about what will happen in the summer. I mean, that's not great to hear, but okay. Maybe he's not going to say too much. He said, the deal with Arsenal is until the end of the season. We'll see what happens. I've said that things before that I still stand for. Stability and development are key words. Now, clearly, he wants stability. He can get that Arsenal, in that sense, because he's going to play. He's going to play. We're going to have the same manager next year. He's going to know the players. That's his stability. And he looks already like he's developing under Mikel Arteta. So, those two things are there. I think where the problem is Real Madrid. Real Madrid are not an easy team to buy players from, notably. They're a difficult club to negotiate with. Where we've got advantages, number one, he clearly enjoys it at the club. Number two, he's got 2 years left on his deal. So Madrid might think, a lot of rumours are saying that Madrid will accept 40 million for him in the summer. And I think at 40 million, Real Madrid would accept it. Also, Arsenal have a good relationship with Real Madrid. Obviously, we've took Dani Ceballos on a 2-year loan now, it's turned into. We also signed Mesut Ozil from them. I think we also got Baptista. Did we sign Baptista from Madrid or sell him to Madrid? I think we got him from there. So we've done business with Real Madrid before. Now, obviously, with Dani Ceballos, we took him on loan for a year. There was no option to buy. Similarly, with Martin Ødegaard, there's no option to buy him. We then negotiated in the summer to take Ceballos again for another year. Real Madrid are now making noise that after 2 years, they're willing to let Dani Ceballos go. And you can see why. He's definitely not Real Madrid's standard at this moment, that's for certain. And As you said there, Skillum, gave them Anelka as well. Yeah, another one. Oh, yeah, Baptista was a swap with Reyes. There you go. Yeah. So it may be a case of, worst case scenario, do we have to maybe get him on loan for another year? I just want to see Arsenal sign him on a permanent. Where my worry is, where I've got alarm bells ringing on this deal. Arsenal, for me, are going to try and sign a central midfielder this summer. I genuinely believe that, right? If you go and sign Bissouma, for example, for £30 million, you've then got to spend £40 million to get Ødegaard. That's 70 million in one transfer window. We're then apparently looking at a right back. We need a backup left back. We could even need a centre back. We could even need a striker if the club decide to sell Lacazette. Are Arsenal going to have the money to go and address all those situations? I could see Arsenal going to Real Madrid and saying, look, give us Martin Ødegaard on loan for another year with an option or an obligation to buy him the following summer. A lot of this, of course, will depend on what competition we're in. We could be in 4 different scenarios this summer. We could be in the Champions League if we win the Europa League. We could be in the Europa League if we finish in the top 7 or 6 or 7. We could be in the Europa Conference League, which is like the losers of all losers European competitions. Or we could be in nothing. Those are all going to have different implications on Arsenal from a financial point of view. If we've got Champions League football, I'm sure the club could say, there's 40 for Ødegaard, there's your 30 for Bissouma. We'll go and sell, I don't know, Bellerin and 3 or 4 others. We got the loan players, your Torreiras, Guendouzes, Maitland-Niles, who you can sell. And then we may have the money to go and address all of these. But I'm a little unsure. As some of you are saying, I think a lot of it will depend on Zidane. If Zidane is still in the job next year, hopefully he doesn't, he sticks with his kind of stance that he doesn't particularly want Ødegaard, which you look at and you think it's astonishing that he's not involved in that Real Madrid setup. They've got old midfielders now as well with Luka Modric and Toni Kroos and players like that. They're all like 30s. And, I thought, you'd think he'd want him involved. But, hey, their loss is our gain. Let's hope we get that deal done. But I'm sure we'll hear more about that as time goes on. But we need to get him tied up. Ian said, Curtis, does Arteta want to play with a 4-3-3? Would Bissouma and Partey not play better in a 4-2-3-1 than a 4-3-3? Yeah, I mean, listen, if he's got Ødegaard, I think he would stick with the 4-2-3-1. Imagine Bissouma and Partey in the 2 with Ødegaard just in front. That would work brilliantly, to be honest. Curtis, what about another keeper? I mean, I think we'll try and sign Matt Ryan on a permanent in the summer. We're definitely going to need a decent backup keeper because Leno, he needs competition. Fia said Modric plays like he's 22, will be the best midfielder if he came to the Prem. He's an unbelievable player. He is. Is he better than De Bruyne now? I would say not quite, but there are different roles. Modric dictates the game from deeper. De Bruyne is a much more advanced. I put them on a similar level. They'd be incredible in the same team. Let's put it that way. Big up Samuel Reedy said, this just shows how important it is to succeed in the Europa League this season. It is. I believe, right, and you guys know I've been critical of this team, critical of the manager, critical of the owner. The Europa League is there to be won. It's down to this team to turn up. Slavia Prague over 2 legs. If we turn up and play well, we'll beat them, in my opinion. I think we're a better team than that. In fact, I'm certain we're a better team. If we lose, it will be our own downfall. Villarreal or Dynamo Kiev in the semi-final? No, Dynamo Zagreb in the semi-final. We're better than both of them, in my opinion. I've watched Villarreal a few times this season. I think they're 8th in La Liga. Turn up, play well, we'll beat them. We're better than them. Obviously, it's never that simple with Arsenal because they never just turn up and play well. In the final, you're looking at what? Man United, Ajax, or Roma, or Granada. I don't think Granada will beat Man U. You're probably looking at Man United, Ajax semi-final or Man United, Roma. They're winnable in the final. We've taken 4 points off United. Roma are beatable. Ajax are beatable. The Europa League is there if this team can perform with some consistency. It's down to them to prove it. 1-1 said Torreira, Guendouzi, El Neni, Xhaka, Willock, Nelson, Bellerin, Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Ketia all might go. You know, they can all potentially go in the summer. You could potentially see Lacazette. You could see who else? You know, we've got Mavropanos coming back from loan. He could be sold on as well. I mean, Torreira, I would say, 15 million for Torreira, 15 to 20 for Guendouzi. You know, he's a lot younger. French under-21 captain this summer he's going to be. El Neni maybe 5-6 mil. Xhaka 15. There's money to be made there. Bellerin 15 to 20. So the club can make 50, 60 million easily selling players. Do you think Guendouzi would fit into this team? I think he would fit into this squad. That's for certain. He would fit into this squad. The problem with Guendouzi is that attitude. I feel he's played himself out of a long-term future at Arsenal, which is a shame because I think the boy's got talent. He's 21. He's the French under-21 captain. He's a French international. He's definitely going to have resale value in the future. I just think it's that attitude problem. And I'm not sure if Arteta wants to deal with a bit of a petulant player. You know, I was really hoping he would grow at Hertha Berlin and show his maturity. As I said, he's becoming a dad. That is something that matures you as a person in life. But he's shown a lot of petulance still over there. The coach over there has said he's like a bit of a petulant teenager, so hasn't helped himself. But a lot of players that can be sold, if not Chambers as well, you know, potentially could be sold. I know a lot of people have hyped up Chambers. People calling him Cafu Chambers after his performance at the weekend. But he's still somebody that I think the club would sell for the right price. I would say the question with Chambers is he better or is Rob Holding better? Because although Chambers played well at right back, I still think he's better at centre back just for the fact that you've got Cedric, you've got Bellerin. I would sell Bellerin and sign a better right back and then keep Cedric as your number 2 at right back. Chambers could be your centre back / right back option. I think the problem with Chambers, he is a fantastic crosser of the ball, which Bellerin definitely isn't. But I just think against quicker, more nimble wingers, he struggles, I think. And I've seen Zaha rip him apart and a few others, but he did do well the other day. I have to give him that. Big up Shadman. Thank you very much for the super chat. He says, big up Kurt. It's always great content. If you're looking into Bissouma, please take a look at Guido Rodriguez from Betis. He is another good option. Apparently, we were being linked with this guy, but he's got some crazy release clause of around 60 million euros. Although apparently he could go for less due to the fact Betis are in a little bit of financial difficulty. So I will look at that as well. Maybe that's another video that we could do during the week. Obviously, 2 weeks off now, international break. We're going to have to get creative with the video content. 1-1 said Chambers is not quick enough against the runner he is done, and that's it. I always say this story, but I remember I was sitting in the North Bank watching Chambers at right back against Crystal Palace. Zaha was playing left wing against him. And the guy sitting next to me, he didn't like Zaha. He was, he's a show pony. And I'm a fan of Zaha. I rate him. And this guy, we were about 5 minutes before half time, and the guy's saying, see, I told you, Zaha's done nothing. Chambers has got him in his pocket. I said, you are forgetting that Zaha has not had Chambers one-on-one for the whole game. They were doubling up on him for the whole game. And the first time Zaha got him one-on-one, I said, let's see what happens now. Zaha ran at him, 2 step-overs, got him in the box, knocked it past him. He stuck a leg out, penalty. I said, see what happens. See what happens when you isolate him and you get space around him and you've got quick movement in that winger. That's when Chambers struggles. I think Chambers is a better centre-back. But as I was saying the other day, we've got a lot of centre-backs, but do we have enough quality centre-backs? You know, David Luiz is playing nearly every week. That worries me. David Luiz is 33. He turns 34 this year. Right now, he's a pivotal part of Arsenal's defence. what is our centre-back partnership going into next season? How good is Mavropanos? You know, he's been on loan. He's being raved about in Germany. How good is Saliba? If Mikel Arteta felt 6 months ago Saliba was not even good enough to be in Arsenal's squad, are you telling me in 6 months in France, he's now good enough to start to Arsenal? Not in our eyes, but in Mikel Arteta's eyes. Gabriel and Saliba, could that be the partnership next season? Time will tell. I've still kind of got a feeling that Arsenal may need to look for a new centre-back. Pablo Mari, I'm still not fully convinced is the answer at centre-back. I think he's a decent squad player, but I'm not totally convinced yet that he is the guy who can get us in the top 4. Gabriel, I think, is quality. I think he needs a better centre-back next to him for us to see the real, the best of Gabriel, if you like. Chambers over Holding any day. I kind of think he's better than Holding as well. I know Holding signed a new contract, but I could see Holding being sold at the right price. Mari is squad fodder. Well, I called him that. I was maybe a bit disrespectful when I called him that, but I'm still not convinced he's a guy that should be like a regular starter every week for Arsenal. But a decent squad player. Opinionated Guna, big up, bro. He said, I'd sell Holding immediately. I've got to be honest. You give me 10, 15 million for Holding. 15 million for Holding, I think I'd let him go. Football League centre-backs are so underrated. Yeah, there's some decent ones in there, man, who I'm sure could probably come up and defend properly. Gabriel and Mavropanos. Interesting. Is Mavropanos... Have any of you guys seen much of Mavropanos? I've seen him a couple of times. But he's getting a lot of rave reviews this summer in this season, should I say, in Germany. And he's very tall as well. Signed Lewis Dunk. He's one of them players, isn't he? He's done well in the Prem for years. I know Leicester tried to buy him when Maguire left Leicester. But they asked for too much money. Gunn said, one-on-one Zaha will do anyone. Yeah, one-on-one he's lethal. Gets one-on-one with a fullback, he rips you apart. Start out. Curtis, when will your all-time Premier League stream come? We'll look at doing that this week. We'll do it on... What day is it tomorrow? Should we do it tomorrow? Maybe we do it tomorrow. All-time Premier League. I've got a couple. I want to do... Last week I did the best ever Arsenal 11. I want to do the worst ever Arsenal 11. And then we'll do the all-time Premier League stream. And we'll do the current Premier League 11 as well. Maybe tomorrow. I'll let you know. Big up, Jack. Thank you for the super chat. He said, Mavropanos has been a beast this year. Deserves a shot. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen him too much. I've seen some highlights, a couple of games where I've watched him. He looks good. But I don't know. When he was at Arsenal... He looked good. He had that great performance against Man United. And then I saw him against Palace once. Didn't look great. Had a few injury problems. But we'll have to see. But big up for the super chat, Jack. Jay Muller said, Mavropanos up bang average against 10-man Bayern on Sunday. I mean, a lot of defenders look average against Bayern. But yeah, I suppose Lewandowski, innit, he was playing against. It's a different level. New Tide, expectation Bissouma, reality Xhaka contract extension. And you're so right. That's probably what it will be. Or El Neni will get a new contract, you know. That's the way Arsenal move, unfortunately, man. Big up Kempe says, Joe Curtis, when will Martinelli be in the starting 11 again? He's reliable and class. This one just baffles me at the moment. I kind of understood at the start why he wasn't playing every week, because he was out for 6 months with the knee injury and he came back into the team and he broke down. He had the injury where he came off and then he had that one before the game in the warm-up. So I think Arteta was like, whoa, let's slow down here. This guy's been out for 6 months. He's just signed a new contract. Let's push him to the back of the queue. But he's been on the bench for weeks and weeks and weeks, not even coming on sometimes. And, you know, I think he's got to start playing him. He's a super talent, Martinelli. I believe long-term this guy could play up front for Arsenal. I do think I mean, people saying there, I feel Martinelli is overhyped. Yes, he started well, but he isn't a world beater. I agree, he's not a world beater, but I think he's got massive potential. And I think when you find players, especially young players with massive potential, you wanna see the club try and push those players through. And Eddie says here, honestly, Curtis, if you were a young prospect in Europe being chased by Champions League teams, why would you want to sign for Arsenal? Obviously, it depends what Champions League club that it is. If it's I don't know, Dynamo Kiev, you're going to go to Arsenal. But I get your point. My problem is, and where Mikel Arteta has to be careful, in my opinion, what Arsenal have had over the years is a brilliant reputation for developing young players. Arsene Wenger was one of the best in the Premier League for it, right? He developed youngsters, Fabregas, Wilshere. He brought through Bellerin, Ramsey, all these players over the years that he developed. Even Unai Emery had a good reputation at Arsenal. He gave Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, and Ketia. They all got this start under Unai Emery. He doesn't get a lot of credit for that, but he was the one. Now, Mikel Arteta, not all by his own fault, but you look at Guendouzi. Guendouzi is not going to speak positively of Mikel Arteta. Neither would Saliba, in my opinion. Martinelli at the moment probably wouldn't speak positively about him. Balogun wouldn't speak positively about him. And what you get then, you can get reputations where 4, 5, 6 players all say, because some of these other good young players, they might have the same agent as Guendouzi or Balogun. And they'll go, you don't want to go to Arsenal, mate. That Mikel Arteta, he's not very good with young players. He don't like them. He'd rather play Xhaka and Willian and players like that. So Arteta has to be careful that he doesn't tarnish the reputation that Arsenal are a football club that develops young players, that gives young players an opportunity. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, he's kept Saka in the team, but you have to keep Saka in the team. He's been that good. Smith Rowe, he got him in the team eventually, so he does deserve some credit for that, but he took a while to get him in. So Mikel Arteta's got to be careful. Don't give us this reputation where young players start going, nah, I don't want to go to Arsenal because this guy doesn't give you a chance. So he's got to be careful with that. So I get your point. Champions League, we look way off it, but we've got an opportunity. And I've said many times that the Europa League, in my opinion, is easier to win for Arsenal than to get in the top 4 of the Premier League. Right now, we're getting further away from the top 4. But somehow we could still find ourselves, hopefully, in a Europa League final and hopefully win it. Harry said, you can't say that, Curtis. Saka, ESR are not young. No, I just said, obviously, they were 2 young players that he's kept in. Guendouzi has an attitude problem, yet still young. I think my point what I was trying to make, Harish, was Saka was at such a level, there would have been a meltdown if he weren't involved. It wouldn't have been accepted amongst anyone. So Saka, you had to keep him in the team. Yeah, I'm giving him credit for helping him develop, right? ESR, obviously, like you said, someone said in the comments there, he was injured at the start of the season. He brought him in a little while after recovering from injury. He was available a bit before, but he brought him in. But what I'm saying, we know Guendouzi's got the attitude, right? But number one, could he have fixed the attitude? There are a lot of players who've got bad attitudes, but, they buy into what that manager thinks and they change it. Could he have changed it? I'm not saying he could, but maybe he could. Saliba's been mistreated. I don't care what anyone says. The guy should have been allowed to go on loan in the summer. The club messed up the loan on the last day of the window and then didn't register him for Europa League. That is the club's fault. We left him to rot for 6 months playing under 23s when he could have been in France playing in the top division, playing another 20 games. That is poor. Balogun hasn't been developed. We haven't, got him on a new contract. We're probably going to lose him on a free. Ainsley, we should have sold in the summer if you didn't want to use him. They rejected a deal for 20 million from Wolves because they wanted to keep him. And then they don't play him. They loan him to West Brom. He's having not a great time at West Brom. And now he's out of the England squad. He's basically played himself out of the Euros. So whilst I get your point with Saka and Smith Rowe, I think Saka, he had no choice. Smith Rowe, it was kind of like, well, I've got to give you a chance now because I ain't really got many other options. I will give him credit, but I think there are 3 or 4 that could have been handled a little better. Arteta admitted he was at fault for the handling of Saliba. Yeah. And he's also admitted in the last week that, that the Martinelli situation was his fault as well. Saying he's trained great, his attitude's great, he's a great player. Yet you've decided to use him sparingly over the last few months. Well, certainly the last few weeks. And, that reputation has to be handled. Amresh said, our reputation of developing young players might be ruined. I mean, I hope not. But we'll see in the summer how he manages certain players coming back. Guendouzi, Saliba, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Joe Willock. There are a number of players that we need to see. And this is Arteta, for me, his biggest issue that he has to handle is man management. People are talking about rotation at the moment, right? Oh, the team's being changed because of rotation. But rotate the right players, right? Successful teams have stability in the right areas. For me, David Luiz and Gabriel over the past few games have built up a decent partnership. Against West Ham, we changed our centre-back pairing. If anything, if you were going to change one of those two, I would have said, all right, give David Luiz a rest. David Luiz is nearly 34. He may not be here next season. We haven't seen Pablo Mari and Gabriel play one game together yet. It's the one partnership we haven't seen that we're all a little bit like, I wonder what those two would play like together. Why not play those two instead? So, we talk about rotation. He has to rotate, but Xhaka's played, 16, 17 games in a row. Leno plays every week. Luiz, Xhaka. Partey, if available, which he hasn't been a lot of the time. Ødegaard at the moment. Aubameyang tends to play. Saka tends to play. Pepe's the one who always gets rotated. Or Smith Rowe gets rotated, or Cedric gets rotated. Gabriel gets rotated. This is where some people talk about favoritism. Only certain people seem to get rotated and dropped, and we call it rotated. Keep that core of the team playing. When we come back from this international break, we've got 10 Premier League games left and potentially 5 games left in the Europa League. 2 against Slavia Prague, 2 in the semis if we get through, and the final. 15 games to get through the season, especially in the Europa League. Play your strongest team. And the question is, does Mikel Arteta know what Arsenal's strongest team is? Does he know that? Kempy, big up for the super chat, bro, said Martinelli and Pepe combining with Saka and Ødegaard and Smith Rowe and Lacazette up front, world beaters. I mean, we've got good attacking talent. Very good. It's just about balance. And like I said earlier, when you look at the Premier League table, we've scored the least goals in the top 10. We've scored the least goals this season. And scoring goals was never Arsenal's problem. He's saying 2 left footers, but imagine how many great centre-back pairings you've seen in your life where they've been 2 right footers, and no one ever says anything about that. No one ever says, you can't play 2 right footers at centre-back. No one ever says that. It's not a problem. But then when it's 2 left footers, people say, oh, no chance. No, you can't play 2 left footers. We don't know. We haven't seen it. I get it. On the mind, for some reason, it feels different. 2 left footers mentally feels uncomfortable. I don't know why, but we haven't seen it. It could work, it could work. But I get your point. I see why man are putting that. Makil said 2 left footers is better than Luiz and Holding. Balance, though, angle of passes, etc. But as I said, why can 2 right footers work, but 2 left footers can't? Curtis, by now, Arteta should know his best 11, 100%. And I don't know if he does know his best 11. I think realistically, let's finish off with, we're going to do 1 or 2 things to finish off, right? What do we think Arsenal's best 11 is, right? Let's quickly finish off with this before I get out of it. What is Arsenal's best team? Because we all think we're football managers deep down. We all do. We're all football experts. That's the beauty of football, isn't it? It's a game of opinions. No one can tell you your opinion is wrong because it's your opinion. That's the beauty of football. That's why I don't slam people's opinions if it's different to mine, because that's the beauty of football. What is Arsenal's best 11? Let's talk about it. Let's name it between us, and let's see the differing opinions in what the best 11 is. I think we can all say Leno is in goal. We know he's been a little bit shaky, but listen, we haven't seen enough to say that Matt Ryan is better than Leno, right? So go with me in the comments here. Leno in goal. Oh, yeah, or put your whole team up if you want, but we go right back. I think most people would say Cedric. Interesting here that Knots21 says Maitland-Niles, but we'll go for the team of players that we've got at the moment, right? Who knows exactly? It's not easy. Let's put the ones in there that are certs, right? Tierney at left back is a no-brainer. Thomas Partey in midfield is a no-brainer. I would say Saka on the right is a no-brainer as well. He's been our best player this season, right? I think Gabriel, definitely for me, has got to be in the team. I think he can be a future superstar at Arsenal. Who would you put around them people? Who would you put? Xhaka and Partey, yeah. I mean, I don't like Granit Xhaka, but we haven't got no choice, really, have we? We've got no choice. You know what? I'm going to have to move him because I need the left footer on the left. Put Xhaka in there. Xhaka and Partey is the midfield. Let me move Gabriel to the left as well. Right. So there's the start of the team. Who are you putting around them people? So David Luiz, Ødegaard, Cedric. Most people are saying them. I think that's pretty cool. It's called Create Formation, that software. Anybody who wants to look at that website, it's very good. Man said, Lau, it's Xhaka out. Bro, who you putting in there, bro? You think I want to put Granit Xhaka in my Arsenal team? I ain't got no choice. You know? I ain't got no choice in the matter. It's got to be David Luiz, right? We just haven't seen. And it's got to be Cedric. It has to be. You know, I'm not getting caught up in Cafu Chambers. For me, it's got to be Martin Ødegaard. He's been exceptional over the last few weeks. Give me your last two, people. Give me your last two. I know who I would pick. Right? It's quite simple for me. Out of form or not, still the best striker at the club. And this, for me, that's my Arsenal team. What would you change in that team? You're saying someone said Dani Ceballos, not Xhaka. I mean, listen, I would love to go for that. And you know what? I still don't think we've seen that partnership, have we? I'm pretty sure them two still haven't played together. Forgive me, man. The comment came off quick. Machine saying Lacko. I know right now because playing well. Aubameyang's not. But I'm still gonna go for him. In a Europa League final, one-on-one with a keeper, I still want Aubameyang one-on-one rather than Lacazette. I'm keeping it 100 here. We just got to play him back into form. A few of you saying Lacazette. Starboy says Pepe and Lacazette. Swap Saka and Pepe, says Ahmed. Yeah, do you prefer it? Yeah, Saka is good with Cedric behind him. But listen, they can swap anyway. Would you guys agree with that? Jack says Aubameyang out, Laka in, Pepe out, ESR in. That's the thing, innit? You see, I think when you've got... I think Tierney is almost better with a right footer on the left because the right-footed player drifts inside and Tierney goes on the overlap where he's probably not as good having a left footer on the left because the overlap is not as good. Pepe, Lacazette and Saka. ESR not on the left. You know we haven't seen that lineup in a game. Yeah, I mean, part of me wants to put Ceballos in, but he's just been so bad over the past few weeks. It's very hard. One's on my case, bruv. Man said, you put Luiz in. I would rather Holding in there, bruv. I remember Holding and Gabriel against Southampton. I think they're probably going to headbutt each other. There's no leadership there, unfortunately. And it's horrible. Unfortunately, at the moment, David Luiz is in our best back four for the organisation, for the experience, and for the And for the ball playing ability, man, I wouldn't put Rob. I think Rob Holding's poor. I think he's one of our worst centre backs, Rob Holding, to be honest. I'd put Gabriel Luiz and Pablo Mari over Rob Holding. I wouldn't want him anywhere near. I'd probably even put Chambers in over him. Handsome, good luck, said Martinelli all day. Also Luiz for Mari. The only reason I've done that is because obviously we haven't seen Pablo Mari next to Gabriel yet. Aubameyang can't link up with anyone. This is the problem. He's very isolated in that central position. It's a tricky one because in a way, the Smith Rowe on the left thing works well, but I just like having wingers who can run at fullbacks. Maybe Pepe on the right, Saka on the left, but this is a team I would go for. I think most of you agree with probably all of it or 9 or 10. Curtis, you have 3 left footers in the 3. Who are the 3 left footers? Who's the left footers? I got Ødegaard, Pepe, Xhaka, Tierney, Gabriel. There's your little left side. So you got what? You got 5 left footers in the team there, and then 5 right footers, and then you keep. I think that's a decent team. This is my selection, MR. Let me know, as I said, let me know what you would change here. And you're right. Someone's saying here, Smith Rowe. They savaged them. They savaged him. The boy, what's his name? Docky at right back. He couldn't keep up, because, as I said, Smith Rowe makes the run inside. Tierney on the overlap. It does work. I think at the moment, Curtis, your team is spot on. I think that's the team. I'm still backing Aubameyang. I know he's having a bad time, but I think it could work. Don't get me wrong. I'm tempted with Smith Rowe. Tempted with Ceballos next to Thomas Partey. I still want to see Pablo Mari at centre-back next to Gabriel, and I want to see Dani Ceballos next to Thomas Partey. We haven't seen Partey and Ceballos in midfield yet, and I'm just intrigued to see how that would work. We play Liverpool after the international break. His team selection's got to be spot on. This Liverpool team can be exposed in the defence. Curtis loves those lefties. Listen, until someone pointed out, I didn't realise, the whole front 3 behind Aubameyang is all left-footed. And then obviously you got Xhaka and Tierney as well. A lot of lefties there, man. Pepe on the right, ESR or Martinelli. But then where you getting Saka? You dropping Saka? You can't leave Saka out, surely. The Arsenal fans are a disgrace for their criticism of Aubameyang. The poor guy's had a tough time, supposed Arsenal fans getting on his back. Listen, criticize him all you like if you see a poor performance. I'm not going to the point where people are saying he's rubbish, sell him, this, that, the other. I still think he's a quality player, but he needs particular service. He needs confidence. He doesn't look happy at the moment. Jeremy said, Curtis, my man, I follow your live every day, bro. To be honest, sometimes you're harsh on Arteta, but the facts don't lie, bro. Love from Paris. Big up, Jeremy. I always say, I don't expect people to agree with all my opinions, my friend. That's the beauty of football. Sometimes you may listen to me and think, wow, he's too harsh on Arteta. That's the beauty of football, as I said. I've been disappointed with the season. I think all Arsenal fans have. But listen, I've got my head around the fact that he's probably going to be the Arsenal manager next season. I've got my head around that, and we're going to have to support him whether we like it or not. It's as simple as that. You've come a long way regarding Arteta since December, Curtis. Me too. Listen, I think I'm being a lot more kind on Mikel Arteta the last few months. We haven't had an Arteta out show, I think, since the start of January. It might even be the end of December. He's had a good time in 2021 from me. I'm giving him 6 out of 10s in the ratings. Burnley at home, I was giving him minus 10,000 and that. So, I told you it's a fractured relationship between the fan base and the manager. He's got a long way to go to convince me. As I said, win that Europa League and all is forgiven. All is forgiven. I will do an Arteta in-show. I'll be calling for a new contract. But, I don't accept 9th. I'm sorry, I don't. Not at Arsenal Football Club. I will never accept that. So yeah, I'm not accepting it at all. But listen, The Europa League's still there to be won. GG said, Curtis, we won't get the finances to get Bissouma. It's as simple as that. If they do, I will post 100 quid live chat. Hey, I'm going to hold you to this, GG, you know, because I think Bissouma could sign. So keep your 100 ready, bro. I'm coming back for you in middle of June time when we get that deal done. Big up, bro. I appreciate your comments. Curtis has eased up on Arteta. The cones haven't come out in ages. Do you know what I mean? The cones are down there looking at me. Netflix are ringing. They're all waiting for the show, man. I've been chilling. Arteta's had an easy ride lately, man. You know? Real Ball Talk says, big up to you, Curtis. Followed you on AFTV since your first interview. You always balance good analysis, honest perspective with good laughs. Respect, man. That's it, man. We have to keep smiling, people. As I said, a year since lockdown started in England, we have to keep a smile on our face, man, and keep ourselves positive. One more thing before we get out of there. Merch is coming, people. Obviously, I just sorted the membership. Merch is on its way. I will try and get that done over this international break. Definitely, Terry. So look out for that. One more thing before we get out of here. This will put a smile on everyone's face, especially Arsenal fans. Gareth Bale, the famous golfer / footballer at Tottenham, has been speaking about Tottenham, and he said, the main reason I came to Spurs was to play football. Going into the Euros, I wanted to be match fit. The original plan was to do a season at Spurs. My plan is to go back to Madrid. Work experience, FC, my friend. Apparently, he's a Tottenham legend. He doesn't want nothing to do with the club, mate. Man said, thanks for getting me fit for the Euros. I'm going back to Real Madrid. Thank you very much, Tottenham. You will always be in Arsenal's shadow. Thank you very much to everyone for tuning in today. I thought that's a great way to finish the show. Big up everyone for tuning in. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Membership is available if anybody wants to join. Enjoy the rest of your day, people. I will be back 2 p.m. tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bless.